Disinformation never stops, and neither do we. Welcome to Stop Fake, the place where we set the record straight on fakes about Ukraine. I'm Marco Suprun, and this week's debunking includes scores of fake claims about the Maidan revolution, a Jewish recognition of Crimea as Russia that never was, and organized crime in Ukraine. Let's get to it. The fourth anniversary of Ukraine's Maidan revolution is not only an important historical milestone for the country, it's also a significant disinformation opportunity for the Kremlin propaganda machine. Vesti Nedeli, News of the Week, a current affairs show on the State Russia 1 television network, and its presenter, Russia's doctor of disinformation Dmitry Kiselyov, took full advantage of the fourth Maidan revolution anniversary to claim the demonstrations were organized by Americans and the more than 100 protesters killed were shot by hired Georgian snipers. For Mr. Kiselyov, the Maidan demonstrations brought on a bloody putsch and civil war. He rattles off a list of revolution losses: a shattered economy, reduced salaries, collapsing currency, a lack of foreign investment, degrading health and education systems, while ignoring such salient details as Russia's annexation of Crimea, its army's role in the Donbas war, or Moscow's trade blockade against Ukraine. Now, despite Mr. Kiselyov's rants about Ukraine's collapsing economy, international ratings agencies continue to upgrade Ukraine's economic forecasts, and World Bank data give positive assessments of Ukraine's reforms. As for that collapsing currency, according to prominent economist Atlantic Council senior fellow Anders Osland, Ukraine's currency account is balanced despite the fact that Russian trade sanctions destroyed 3/4 of Ukraine's exports to the Russian Federation. Vesti Nedeli featured another fake currently making the rounds in Kremlin-friendly media. Italian journalist Gian Michelissen's investigative report called Ukraine, The Hidden Truth, which aired November 15th on former Italian Prime Minister Silvio Berlusconi's Matrix Canal 5 television station. Michelissen, an activist with the Italian neo-fascist MSI movement in the 1970s, claims the Maidan revolution was planned in the United States with the purpose of regime change, and that the killing of more than 100 activists was the work of Georgian and Lithuanian snipers overseen by an American handler. Michelissen's film is based on the sensational admission by 3 Georgian mercenaries sent by former Georgian President Mikhail Saakashvili to participate in Ukrainian opposition activities. The 3 alleged Georgian snipers talk about their American curator Brian Christopher Boinger and claim their actions were coordinated by Mamuka Mamulashvili, a Saakashvili associate. Michelissen uses video footage of a press conference featuring Mamulashvili and Boinger as implied proof of their participation in the shootings. He does not mention that the press conference took place on February 24, 2016, and was devoted to the Georgian National Legion and its role in the war in eastern Ukraine. The Georgian Legion has dismissed Michelissen's film as an attempt to discredit the Legion and Mamulashvili. The Ukrainian General Prosecutor's Office expressed surprise that Michelissen did not contact any Ukrainian officials for his film. According to the office's Special Investigations Department Chief Serhiy Horbatyuk, the men named in the video were never in Ukraine. Horbatyuk said their claims that they shot both at the police and at demonstrators are inaccurate and contradict all investigations and existing eyewitness testimony. Many Russian and Ukrainian media reported this week that Ukraine is officially on the list of countries with the highest level of organized crime. At the center of this claim is the 2017-2018 Global Competitiveness Report published by the World Economic Forum, rating 137 economies based on 114 different criteria. Organized crime is but one of the markers estimating the level of loss that business and legitimate economic activity bear as a result of mafia activities like racketeering and extortion. Of the 137 countries analyzed by the World Economic Forum for the latest Global Competitiveness Index, Ukraine's economy is in 81st place, moving up from 85th place last year. Now, a country's standing in the index is based on its performance in 12 sectors which gauge the ease or difficulty of doing business. Ukraine's most problematic categories are inflation, corruption, political instability, tax rates, and tax regulations. But in other categories, Ukraine's performance is improving. Ukraine is in 35th place in the higher education category, in 61st place for innovation, and 35th place for market size. Two of Ukraine's best indicators in this year's report are 16th place for the the quantity of higher education subcategory and 18th place for the low number of bureaucratic procedures needed to start up a business. Now, the organized crime subcategory in the Global Competitiveness Index assesses to what extent executives operating in a country feel organized crime impedes the conducting of business. This subcategory does not assess the level of crime in the country as a whole. Russian media are disseminating a story claiming that the World Jewish Congress has recognized Crimea as part of Russia. The source for this claim is a statement made by Crimea's chief rabbi, Benjamin Wolf. On November 23rd, the daily Vesti program on the Russia 24 state television channel announced that during the World Jewish Congress gathering in New York, Crimea was recognized as part of Russia. The proof? Rabbi Wolf's conference badge, which read Sevastopol, Russia. Quote, "I believe this is a great and important event that such an influential organization accepts Crimea as Russian land," Rabbi Wolf said. Well, as it turns out, both Rabbi Wolf and Russia 24 lied. The gathering was not the World Jewish Congress, but the International Conference of Shluchim 2017, held last month in New York. This is an annual gathering of Chabad Lubavitch Hasidic rabbinic emissaries and communal leaders that has absolutely nothing to do with the World Jewish Congress. The photograph that Vesti cameras pan over is the traditional annual photo participants take outside the Chabad Lubavitch World Headquarters in Crown Heights, Brooklyn. Chabad media director Moti Seligson told StopFake that no political declarations regarding Crimea were made at the conference. In a statement, Ukrainian Jewish leaders said that Chabad leaders informed them that no one at the conference had or ever would discuss Crimea with Rabbi Wolf, and the gathering did not recognize Crimea as part of Russia. Benjamin Wolf is very pro-Russian in his views and welcomes the Russian annexation of Crimea. He actively cooperates with Crimea's Russian authorities and praises Russian President Vladimir Putin. His account on the Russian social media site Vkontakte is filled with gushing posts supporting Putin, Russian civilization, and the new rulers of Crimea. That's it for this week. For more dissected disinformation, remember to visit our site, stopfake.org. Be vigilant. Fakes are lies, and lies will really mess you up. If you spot any disinformation about Ukraine, send it to us for a truth autopsy. I'm Marco Suprun, and this is Stop Fake. Thanks for watching.